What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Disciple Plays for another YouTube video. Today we're going to do a bit of a market speculation video that I have been thinking about. I've been paying attention to the sets coming out, and this is just something that's been going on in my mind. I figured I'd throw it out there and see if anybody else agrees or sees what I see, or maybe disagrees, or hey, maybe somebody knows some information. I don't know. I don't know the people at the top of Pokemon. This is just something that I've been kind of noticing, and just based on what they did over the last year, it might be a sign that they're actually changing how they're doing things. So we're going to talk about specialty sets, and then we're going to talk about main sets. So main sets have booster boxes. So like Perfect Order and Chaos Rising, Phantasmal Flames, those are main sets. Specialty sets do not have booster boxes. So Prismatic, 151, Paldean Fates, Ascended Heroes, no booster boxes for those. But one thing I wanted to talk about, just because I've noticed set sizes seem to be getting smaller with main sets. So I made this little graph. So Pokemon set sizes, including all variants. So these are just some of the last several sets that have come out. So Ascended Heroes is gigantic. To get a complete master set takes a ton of cards. Black Bolt, White Flare, if you combine both sets, really big. Prismatic Evolutions, really big. And those three are all specialty sets, so there's no booster boxes for these three sets. Phantasmal Flames, about 210. Destined Rivals, 240 to 260. Twilight Masquerade, 230 to 240. Journey Together, 210 to 220. But then if we look, Perfect Order, 124. And Ninja Spinner, the Japanese, is about 120 to 130. So why did we go from being pretty consistent with main sets right here? I mean, these are all pretty close together. Even the 210 is pretty close. So what's changing that is causing this to happen? And this is all my speculation. I don't know if this is the case. This is just what I'm thinking. So I made a small little timeline here. This is just what I think is happening. So Pokemon releases Prismatic February of 2025, and the market goes absolutely bonkers. The ETBs shoot up in price. The cards are really expensive. The Umbreon's over $1,000. Like, it's just going crazy. And then Pokemon starts printing more and more Prismatic March 2025, because they realize, oh crap, people really want this. It's flying off the shelves. We can't print enough. Distributors are told more allocations will be opening up for Prismatic, so they're going to be getting more product, and we see the massive dumps into like Costco and Sam's Club. Pokemon's doing everything they possibly can to just plummet the price of Prismatic. And if we go look over here, we go to Prismatic and we look at the ETBs and we look at the price chart just over the last year. I mean, it dipped to under $100 at one point in time in June, and then it went right back up over 100, dipped again a tiny little bit, but then pretty much stayed over 100 and then jumped into the 130s, came down a little bit, then now it's at like 180 a box, or some market price has 171. So basically they were trying to print the crap out of this and doing everything they could to crash the price, and they got it to go under $100 at one time after printing just a metric ton of the stuff. So what do I speculate happens? Pokemon realizes in June, July, which fits almost exactly with my timeline here, June, July, they start realizing, I don't think we're going to be able to print this that much. This is going crazy. And why is that relevant? Well, because allegedly Pokemon prints things 9 months in advance. So if we look at what's going on right now, 9 months ago is about like June, July, August-ish of last year at this point. So I think that Pokemon realized in June/July area, maybe August, that they are not going to be able to print enough of Prismatic to actually meet the demand. So now that's why we're sitting at $171 for Prismatic Evolutions ETB. That's just the reality of it. They can't print enough. That is the way it is. And Pokemon realized that. So they're like, oh crap, like we already have Ascended Heroes planned and Black Bolt planned and Phantasmal Flames planned completely. But what about like Perfect Order And Ninja Spinner, oh, well, let's make them smaller sets so that we're not having to pump print capacity into these sets to print as much, so that we can get more out on the market if we need to. If you look at Ascended Heroes, to print Ascended Heroes like equal amounts of these sets, like you can print Perfect Order and Ninja Spinner together at the same time, and it's not taking up as much print capacity as Ascended Heroes is taking up. And almost the same thing with Prismatic. Prismatic is 300 and 350 cards for a complete master set. These are only 120, 124. So you could print both of these sets at the same time and take up about the same print capacity as it takes to print just Prismatic Evolutions. So I think that Pokemon saw about 9 months ago that they cannot print enough of these bigger sets to actually meet demand. So what do? They say, hey, we're going to cut set size down to 100 to 150 cards so that we can print more of this stuff, so that we can meet some demand a little bit better. And again, this is all speculation. This is just something I've seen going on, and I found it interesting because I think we are going to learn a lot over the next couple of sets. If I think they did just confirm a Darkrai set is coming after Chaos Rising. I will be really curious to see if that's another 100 to 120, 130 card main set, or if they're going to go back to like a Destined Rivals 240 to 260. And then, of course, we have the 30th anniversary set coming. Is that going to be a crazy huge set like Ascended, or is it going to be like Celebrations where it's actually a fairly small set? Just something to think about with the fact that I think they might be switching to printing smaller and smaller sets, which, if that's the case, be on the lookout for Ascended Heroes, Black Bolt, White Flare, and Prismatic to go absolutely bonkers. Because if they're switching the strategy to where they're going to be printing like 5, 6 smaller sets at once, these sets are not going to be printed nearly as much because they take too much printing bandwidth. And this applies for sets in the block with Ascended Heroes, probably. So that's 2028. Ascended is going to go out of print because they are supposed to have that new print facility up and operational completely by end of 2028, which who knows if that actually happens, but that's their plan. But the way it's going right now, I foresee like Ascended and Black Bolt, White Flare, and Prismatic to just keep booming like crazy, because they're trying to switch away from these bigger sets because they just can't print the demand when they're having to print 575 cards per set in Ascended Heroes, when they could just be printing 5 sets of 100 cards each and take up just as much printing bandwidth. So something to think about. Let me know if you guys agree, if you see the same thing going on right now, and if you think that the next upcoming sets are going to be similar to the Darkrai set. What do you think? Give me a prediction on size of the Darkrai set. I'm going to guess it's going to be the 120 to 130. That's my prediction. Like, comment, subscribe, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.